Are you ready to 1, 2, 3, let go? Yes, letting go is one of life's hardest tasks. And Dr. Charles Stanley tells us that anything we hold too tightly, we're going to lose. We're going to talk about how to let go of a lot of different mind battles and just life situations that are weighing us down or not contributing to our best health. So are you ready to learn how to let go? We're going to jump into this right now from my Word Puzzles devotional, and we're going to come from the Word Puzzles devotional, and it's an A to Z, and it's from the letter C, and it's from the word seed, and that's C-E-D-E. What does that mean? It means to relinquish possession or control over. So what do you need to relinquish possession or control over that? We're going to get into that in just a second. Let me remind you, I am Nurse Ann. I'm coming from the messy front lines now to drop this information on you to help you live your best life for mind, body, and spirit, your inspirational wellness, since they work together in synergy. So I'm a certified emergency and mental health registered nurse on the front lines for many years and still going. And I care about your mind, body, and spirit, the health of all. They work together in synergy. So let's talk about how to let go. We're going to have some great resources, some science, some scripture, along with the bonus and the prize that we always do here. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. So let's jump back into the Word Puzzles devotional. Link on my website at nurseann.com, seed in the description. So the letter is C, seed, which means to relinquish possession or control over. Have you thought about what you want to relinquish possession or control over, something that you're holding too tightly? Think about that for a moment. Leave it in the comments and we'll get some mutual support and prayers for that. So one of Dr. Charles Stanley's 30 life principles advises anything you hold too tightly, you will lose. Letting go is one of life's hardest tasks. Letting go of anger, control, outcomes for our loved ones. Letting go of anxious ruminations about the future. You know what? The list is endless. And you know, the Apostle Paul encouraged us toward a higher pursuit when he revealed that he was letting go of things that were behind and pressing forward to things ahead. Higher goals. The ultimate goal. And I concur, this is a daily endeavor. Do you find it's a daily endeavor to let go of mind battles and just situations and habits? Leave that in the comments. So our hearts want to fix every problem and hold on for dear life. So together, let's breathe. And 1, 2, 3, let go. I know it's not always that simple, but we're going to get into some ways to do that. And this is from my Word Puzzles devotional by Nurse Ann, hopefully your favorite nurse and new indie author. So let's jump into this. Letting go. What do you need to loosen your grip on? Think about that. As I said, I'm Nurse Ann, a nurse on the front lines. And a great scripture that reminds us of that is Matthew 11:28 through 30. And then we're going to jump into the resources. Remember that Matthew 11 tells us, God says that come to me, everyone that is weary and heavy laden and burdened. And he promised to give us rest, to take his yoke upon him, and we can learn from him because he's gentle and humble in his soul, his life, his spirit. Wouldn't that be great to be able to let go of our weariness and our burdens and have that supernatural rest? Yes, that would be the ultimate feeling of rest and peacefulness. And that's Matthew 11:28. So the first one we're going to jump into is called letting go. And we're going to jump into that in a second. But as I said, we might want to let go of control, which sometimes shows itself in powering ourselves through our hamster wheel of the ladder of success, maybe even manipulating or stepping on others to get ahead. worries, anxieties, ruminations, thinking about the same things over and over, and those mental, physical, and spiritual blocks that we find ourselves in. And that's what this channel is here for. So make sure you follow this, because this channel is all about your inspirational wellness, along with mine, and share it with others who need inspirational wellness for mind, body, and spirit, breaking out of those mental bondages, those habits, being able to get out of our comfort zones, and just so much there for you. And there is a link in the website to nurseann.com, which is full of inspirational wellness for your mind, body, and spirit. So moving on, we all need that mental healing. A lot of us have trauma in our past, or just things that we got caught up, just certain lifestyles, ways we thought about ourselves based on childhood trauma, or just childhood things that we learned. And they're not all bad. A lot of them are good. But, even media and culture, we get stuck. We don't know how to let go and what to choose. So we're going to learn about that. And so let's jump into the media. The first one, as I said, is from How to Let Go, from an article titled Letting Go, Let's Heal the World by Healing Ourselves. So they just dropped some quick tips from their podcast, and they say the letting go technique is simple. It's so simple you may dismiss its incredible power. If you catch yourself doing this, let go. All you need to let go is an emotion, a negative one. This feeling is attached to many thoughts, perhaps a story or a dozen similar experiences. However, if it presents, the overall energy can be negative. We don't want that negative energy. So they say, number one, identify a negative feeling. Quiet your mind, and there's lots of ways to do that. And some of the suggestions they provided are letting go of that process and clearing away all your negative thoughts, focusing quietly on that feeling, breathing into the sensation, allowing them to be. Breathe in, accept the feeling inside you. And it doesn't matter if you're at home, work, driving, of course, keep your eyes open, having coffee with a friend, and so on. Just go from that unconscious breathing to conscious. And they said that the sensations might be uncomfortable. That's okay. Just breathe and allow the feelings to be where they are. Let go the need and give the feeling a name. In general, the word sensations. And also they remind us, number 3, breathe into the sensations and allow them to be. Your willingness to accept the sensations could intensify them. This is okay too. Keep breathing and allowing. Thoughts are not required. So this is about, mindfulness, meditation, just clearing our thoughts. I listened to an audiobook called The Power of Now, just reminding us to be in the moment, focusing on our breath, and sometimes clearing away all that negative energy, those negative thoughts, those negative mindsets that try to attack us. And we're reminded also in scripture that they try to set themselves up as strongholds, pretensions, which tells us those thoughts can be a lie. So we can breathe into this, let go of those negative thoughts. Your willingness to let go of thinking about that and accept what's happening is your ticket to inner freedom. It can be simple, and just letting go of those sensations around social acceptance or whatever comes up. And they go on, number 4 is repeat when necessary. So they did break that down into a simple process. I also have a podcast where we talk about mind control, letting go of negative mindsets, where sometimes our amygdala gets hijacked. And that's when we go into the fight, flight, or freeze. And one of the techniques is breathing, getting back in the sensation of now. If you go back to that podcast, there's, I think 6 or 7 other things that we can do to break out of that amygdala anxiety, the amygdala hijacked. Limerence is also part of that. Some techniques where we can find ways to get out of that moment where we get stuck in that fight, flight, or freeze. Because remember, we only need the amygdala hijack, the fight, flight, or freeze when we're in a dangerous situation or under serious attack. If we have it coming at us all the time, it's not good for our health. So that was a simple one, and we're going to go on to a couple more. The other one is from BetterHelp, Let It Go, how to stop letting things bother you. What is bothering you the most? What do you find the most trouble letting go of? Leave that in the comments. Make sure you follow this page and like it. and share it with others who you see hanging on to control or having a hard time letting go. So from the BetterHelp, how to stop letting things bother you. And everyone, get a drink of water. It's healthy for you. And pause and take that deep breath. Whew, so how to let it go, how to stop letting things bother you. Are you wondering how to let things go? You might have heard advice about letting go of things that harm you to improve your mental health and daily life. However, letting go of worry, stress, and hurt can often be easier said than done. And they teach us at the BetterHelp, when someone or something bothers you, you might feel emotionally attached to that person or thing and feel unsure of how to proceed. And several research-backed strategies can help in moving forward when you're ready. Oh, I forgot to tell you, and then we'll jump on. At the end, there's always a bonus and a prize. Stay to the end. I read you a quick, short, action-packed chapter of my published fictional drama where you're going to ride along with the frontline workers rescuing those in crisis. And it's full of action, adventure, advocacy, and awareness with danger, suspense, romance, faith, inspiration, and lots of action. We'll get into that soon. So if you don't know how to proceed, the next time you dwell on a negative situation or painful feelings, consider trying one of their following techniques. They could help you learn how to not let things bother you now and in the future. So techniques for letting go of what bothers you. It can help you increase your relaxation and sense of feeling calm. Don't we all want that? So of course, practicing mindfulness and meditation, that is huge. We don't always have maybe a specific time that we've worked out into our routines to do that, but just try to incorporate noticing what's around you, noticing your breath, noticing just as you're cooking, the sounds, the smells, as you're walking, maybe the sounds of your feet on the gravel, the sounds of rain, the sounds of the wind. Noticing birds and just everything around you, bringing yourself back to the moment. That can really help you live a calmer life and let go of a lot of negativity. And it can help you stay in the moment and learn to connect with yourself on a more profound level. This is true. With mindfulness meditation, you can sit quietly without interruption and focus on breathing. Listen, feel, and focus on each inhale and exhale. And while you're breathing, thoughts that distress you might come into your head. If they do, try to let them go without judgment and return to your breathing. And mindfulness meditation offers an opportunity for self-care and a moment to focus on the present moment rather than worries and painful feelings. And they tell more about that. And try to minimize your complaining. Complaining can be a natural response to feeling upset. A lot of things make us feel upset in the moment. And as I said, especially when you get that amygdala hijack going, you want to go into that anger or fight, flight, or freeze. I have a lot of podcasts about mind blocks, amygdala anxiety, emotional resilience, emotional intelligence, just a lot there. If you want to scroll back and join this channel. And at the website, nurseann.com, there's also a link to the podcast and the YouTube to see those podcasts in order or skip around if you would like. Anyway, however, talking about a problem excessively might not help you. And mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment. Complaining is an activity that stimulates your mind to stay worried about the past or future. When you complain, you magnify a problem, making it bigger and more significant. However, you can learn to control this habit with this practice. So let's say you've been cut off in the road while driving. You might have found it scary and infuriating. When this happens, it could feel tempting to complain about it to others and let it ruin the rest of your day. However, doing so can give the frustration and negative emotions more power over your well-being without accomplishing anything. Try to acknowledge the momentary frustration, recognize your emotions, release them, and move forward. Put your worries in perspective. If you ruminate on a particular subject, consider asking yourself, what's most likely to happen? Follow your answer through to its logical conclusion. You may realize that whatever happens, there are techniques you can use to get through it and find relief. The anxious brain often focuses on the worst possible scenario, just making it bigger. However, knowing you have a plan for that scenario and others could help you feel more in control of your worries. Try to keep in mind you might not know what will happen until you experience it. Recognize that the nerves you feel have started from a thought you're creating about what might or could happen, not necessarily what will happen. You can ask yourself the following: how much will this matter to me tomorrow? In some situations too, and we can work on that, whether like we could be worried about outcomes for our loved ones, just problems in our life. And that doesn't mean we just let go and breathe. We do need to have plans, work on those, but just step back, look at the bigger picture. Prayer, introspection, getting help, therapy, advice from others can help us along that path and not holding on to it and letting it control our mind and our day. So you could free up mental space and find a calm state by learning to accept what you can't change and change what you can. You might not be able to change or control the random events of life or other people's behavior. However, you can change how you respond to these situations. So instead of focusing outwardly on what is outside of your control, try to release that worry and emotional pain and focus on what you can do. And they give an example: if someone posts something about you, say on social media, or talks about you behind your back, you can consider whether there is anything you can do about it. If there isn't, you might find it helpful to let go and find something else in life that is within your control. And I also have a podcast about dealing with criticism and how to let that be fuel for your growth. You might want to check that one out. And also talking to a professional, definitely therapists, coaches, family members, friends, people at church, online, that self-introspection. Talk that out, get that therapy. We all have a lot of things to deal with, trauma bonds, just patterns in our life that we haven't found a way to deal with. It's important to get help for that so you can move forward and progress. So the takeaway they offer is, while letting go can often be helpful advice, it can be easier said than done. So if you're interested in learning ways to stop letting things bother you in life and let go, it might help to consider implementing some of those practices, such as practicing mindfulness, letting go of things you can't control. And that was from BetterHelp. And we have one more, and then we're going to be ready almost to jump into that bonus in the prize. So hang on, we're almost there. In the third one, after we all get a drink of water and take a deep breath again, focus on what's going around you. The last resource online was from Psychology Today, and it's called Deciding to Let Go. And they highlight it with forgiveness is never easy, but it can be freeing. Their key points are: freedom from resentment and pain can follow the decision to let go. Letting go of painful events can provide freedom from past and future victimization. And it may help to remember that people often grow the most when they're challenged. Yes, even criticism and challenges can propel us when we learn from that. We can pick apart what can help us in our life to grow better, take the constructive feedback, and also weed out the negativity that we can push past. They remind us that letting go is easier said than done once again. However, once you accomplish it, you can free yourself from the burden of holding on to what hurts you. And that reminds us again of the scripture from Matthew 11:28, where God reminds us to bring all of our heavy burdens to him, and he's going to help us take that upon him and learn better, less anxious and calmer ways to live for ourselves and share that with others. So you can free yourself from the burden of holding on to what hurts you. Whether you're finally free from that bad relationship that haunts you, free from the image you once had of your life that looks different from reality, free from societal expectations like my podcast of breaking out of your comfort zones and getting free from negative critics. But free from societal expectations or a childhood that is difficult to remember but you can't seem to forget. Overall, there is freedom for resentment and pain that comes with letting go. And yes, we do need to take accountability for our actions, and others also need to take accountability for how they've hurt others. But this is just part of your own inner work and working on healing and letting go. You probably want personal freedom and to let go to free yourself, but you don't know how to begin the process. You don't know how to let life be the way it is in this moment. Let go of a future that hasn't occurred yet and make peace with the past that didn't go how you wanted it to. We want tranquility. And we know letting go is one avenue to get there. Yet we tightly grip the ideas, dreams, grievances, and pain that keeps us from the peace we desire. Why do we do that? Why can't we just let go and move on? First and foremost, letting go is a process that takes time. For example, to let go so you can forgive someone means making a conscious effort to release something hurtful that happened to you by no longer holding on to negative thought patterns, anger, resentment, or pain. By engaging in this process, you're making an active choice to no longer suffer something you never had control over. When we see letting go this way, it becomes clear that this is also freedom. It is freedom from past and future victimization, because when you let go of painful events, they no longer define or control your present. They remind us. And yes, once again, if you're in a situation that's unsafe, it's so important for you to seek safety. You don't have to be abused or unsafe. So that is first and foremost, to seek safety, find help, and get therapy and healing from any strongholds in your life. We don't have to allow that to control our life. And why letting go is hard, they tell us. You're not a bad person if you're finding it difficult to let go or even forgive someone who hurt you. You're human. As humans, we're pre-programmed to avoid danger or anyone who has proven untrustworthy. We're programmed to remember negative experiences so we can prevent them. Therefore, forgiving someone who harmed us or letting go of a bad experience goes against our instincts. More often than not, it's wise to listen to your instincts. But if they're keeping you trapped in a place that doesn't allow you to escape your suffering, it's time to decide to let go. And I heard on a different podcast also, I think it's actually, I believe it is on my website under about relationships, where he tells us how to break our trauma bonds. That's a good one to check out. But he brought up something very important in that podcast of how to break your trauma bonds on my website in the mental health tab. But he told us that you don't always have to, you don't have to force someone to forgive when they're going through a process, because a lot of times, especially if they were hurt as a child or hurt in an abusive situation, it's like they're being bullied again, that they have to forgive. And I really got a lot out of that. I think you'll enjoy his video, how to break out of your trauma bond. And you can see my website link, not a link, but you can see the website name in the description, nurseann.com. That's Ann with an E, because I really do care about your mental healing and your mental freedom. So as the influential teacher, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it looks like Ajahn Chah explained in his book, Food for the Heart, when we choose not to follow the path of letting go, it's like deciding to carry a heavy rock around with us, weighing ourselves down. We don't know what to do with the rock, so we keep carrying it around. Even if others explain the benefit of throwing away the rock, we're still afraid to let it go. We've been carrying it around for so long, it's become a part of us. And we continue to carry it until we get so weak and tired we have no choice but to let go. Only then can we finally feel at peace and recognize how physically and mentally heavy that burden was. Letting go of negative feelings and pain invites peace and the release of unresolved emotional turmoil. When deciding to let go, working on developing self-awareness is essential. When we develop self-awareness, we are more mindful of ourselves, who we are, and how we react to life's challenges and the people in our lives. To be more self-aware is a gift of being more conscious, intentional, and wise. We can more readily note how we feel and then make a mindful decision on how to respond. When we aren't self-aware, we float through life reacting to situations in unhelpful ways. We end up with a life by default, not a life we choose. We wind up feeling stuck in our circumstances and helpless to make changes, making it especially difficult to let go and feel personal freedom. We often place all the blame on others and have a hard time releasing what hurt us and taking accountability for our lives. And they talk about also in the Psychology Today article, different misconceptions about letting go, where there's a misconception that letting go means that whatever happened is done and removed from our lives. And we know that's not true, especially if we've been mistreated. Letting go doesn't mean it didn't happen or allows the person who hurt you off the hook. People do need to be accountable for their actions. It certainly did happen, and that person is accountable. We are aware, accepting, and conscious of what happened. We deeply understand the facts and effects of what took place, though it no longer stings like it used to. Instead of wishing it didn't happen, we don't fight against it. We acknowledge the presence and let it be how it unfolded. It helps to remember that we grow the most when we're challenged. Life's obstacles show us who we are and how capable we are of standing on our own 2 feet when we see our challenges as opportunities for growth. And I do have some podcasts also of growing from our disappointments and growing from even criticism and other things. When we see our challenges as opportunities for growth rather than stressful or painful constraints that hold us back, we reframe the situations that happen to us. Reframing is a great term, and it's great. Many people who have been hurt in excruciating ways learn how resilient they are through those events. They find meaning in giving back and helping those who've been through similar experiences. I find that to be very true. And I've written a lot of devotionals and my published fictional drama to highlight the struggles that people go through in mental health and emergency, in your life, my life, just the world at large, because people are dealing with very stressful, traumatic situations. And my devotionals and fictional drama really provide that advocacy, awareness, along with empathy and encouragement. And that helped me to heal. That was also to help others that I know heal, and just to help you heal. So I hope you check them out at my website. But we're going to briefly look at some of those soon. And they find meaning in giving back. Leave in the comments if you find meaning in giving back and helping others. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So they find meaning in giving back and helping those who have been through similar experiences. When we find meaning, purpose, and growth in our misfortunes, we can reframe the situation and refresh the narrative of how it will affect us, allowing us to let go and move forward. We don't have control over everything that happens to us as much as we might try, though we do control how we choose to deal with those events. When deciding to let go, we focus on changing what we can control, our perspective. We could feel hopeless and powerless when we focus on changing what we can't. By shifting that focus, we regain power and release ourselves from emotional prison. And I hope that those resources were helpful. We're going to jump into a couple more, and then quickly, we're about to jump into the bonus in the prize before we go. Make sure you're following this channel, and there is a link on my website to the other social media channels. For the next one is from my Inspiration Battles, Devotional Biblical Medicine for Real Life, and Soul Searching with a Dose of Encouragement. That soul searching and introspection really can help us to let go and see what we need, what's been stopping us in our lives, and how we can work on that. And it's an A to Z devotional also, and the letter today is F, and the word is fear. We all know what that is. But fear not, fear not, fear not. We're encouraged over 365 times in the pages of Scripture that we can choose not to be controlled by fear. We're offered a gift that covers more than every single day of the year. And I'm going to let you read the rest of that at the Inspiration Battles Devotional by Nurse Ann. Link at the website so we can move on. This one will really help you. It's the Mental Healing Poetry Devotional. We discuss life challenges along with God-ordained courage and healing to help us turn away from mindsets controlled by fear. An inspiration to let go, an inspiration to step into your true destiny of a faith walk and purpose-driven path. I just started doing spoken word in here, and I really talk a lot about mental health battles that we struggle with, mind battles, just also ways to let go and ways to break out of boxes of conformity that aren't working for us. There's so much in here. I'm going to let you also check that out. is really inspirational. A lot of people gravitate to the mental healing poetry devotional by Nurse Ann. A couple more and then we'll jump into that bonus. My newest is Ignite Life Poetry Devotional. As you go, it's going to help you dare to inspire and bless everyone in your path. Because remember the life stories that you have, that your loved ones have, and the life stories we encounter daily are filled with struggle, triumph, joy, sorrow, self-doubt, and everything in between. You're going to challenge yourself to discover these stories and ignite passion and potential for your own journey, along with mutual encouragement for others. There's a lot of poetry I did in here. Most of it's for advocacy for serious life struggles that people deal with. Probably you'll find yourself in several of those, and those that you love and take care of. And it's also a devotional that gives us some encouragement and insight on how to help ourselves and how to help others. So Ignite Life Poetry Devotional. And last but not least, Energize Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit. As I said, our mind, body, and spirit work together in synergy so that we can let go of negativity and move on to our best life. Let's now jump into the bonus and the prize. One more drink of water, so healthy for you, and then we're gonna go. What is the bonus and the prize? In my free time as a busy nurse on the front lines, a very busy nurse, which reminds me, I'm a very busy nurse. I work a lot, along with other ministry endeavors that I'm involved in the community and online, and on a lot of other life responsibilities I have. But the reason I bring this up, because I want you to know that whatever creative endeavor, life passion, side gig, whatever you might be trying to start and you feel like you don't have time or energy, just know you can learn. I did this and I'm very busy, that you can chip away at it a little bit at a time. And when you start letting that creative process go and grow, it actually churns out more creativity and more energy, which energizes and inspires you to help others. Anyway, what this is a 6-part fictional drama series, and it highlights the struggles that people go through in mental health and emergency, in the frontline workers, their thought battles, their relationship drama, along with you, with the community, families, people you take care of, the church, and so on. It's just filled with so much drama, action. It's really written to be a television drama series. The first one is Sheep Among Wolves. You meet the young lady fending for herself out on the street, battling ravenous, frightening hallucinations and fending off ravenous predatory wolves, along with so much more. The Mental Files, Sheep Among Wolves, that's book 1. Number 2, we already finished, is Dr. John Doe. We talk about dementia, Alzheimer's, along with other danger action, the frontline workers and their drama and their relationships. We're now in book 3, which is A Tent Under the Bridge. We're going to jump into that in a second. After that, we're going to jump into Defenders of the Week. We talk about someone getting bullied, people getting bullied, picked on, anxiety battles, and we're going to see how they help each other through that struggle. And after that is the Mental Files Ready, Willing, and Able. We talk about autism, the spectrum, different disabilities, and how people, even if you have a limitation or a disability, you can be the actual hero. You have your own unique talents, and how we can help others do that and appreciate people with limitations and differences. And then the season finale, because it is going to be a television drama series with your help one day, is Out of Control. One more won't hurt, or will it? So we talk about relapse, addiction, entitled people, entitled customers, entitled patients. Do you ever deal with entitled customers in your line of work? Leave that in the comments. But we're going to talk about that. But let's jump into the bonus now. And before we do that, quickly, it is in one book. There's a link on the website, The Mental Files First 6 Stories Edition by Nurse Ann. And I also turned it into an audiobook because we don't always have time to read. And it was narrated by Drama Simpson. He brought this to life with action and siren noises. This is what it looks like on Audible and iTunes. It's The Mental Files First 6 Stories Edition by Nurse Ann, narrated by Drama Simpson. Like I said, siren noises, action, 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 adventure, advocacy, awareness, danger, romance, faith, and inspiration. Check that out on Audible and iTunes and leave a review. So I know I've kept you a long time, so let's get into this bonus and the prize. It is going to be quick, and then you can go on to your next podcast or whatever you're doing today. Follow this channel because I really like to inspire you and help you with your life struggles as a nurse on the front line. So chapter 19 is Mental Health Mystery. On the way to the hospital, Leon quickly updated Lita. Julie was missing with her mom. What? Cried the panicked caseworker. How is that possible? Lita recalled the trauma that Julie had been through with her mom. This was not good. Buzzing through to the psychiatric ward, Leon hoped to get information from Nurse Angela to help locate Julie. Angela was Julie's nurse who admitted her recently to the boarding home. Maybe there was a clue. Also, he wanted to drop off Lita somewhere safe where she could be productive in the search. He had to get out there and find her. As he started to leave, Lita demanded, "Where are you going?" "I'm going to get my partner to help me find Julie," he replied. "Come on," she pleaded. "I can help you. Don't leave me here." "It's not safe to go on a police mission," was his quick reply. "Leon, I'm a mobile crisis caseworker. That's what I do. You know that. We go on search missions all the time together." "Lita, I know. I'm sorry. Sorry, but I think you can stay here to get clues while I cruise the streets," came the unwanted reply. As he headed out the door, she wondered if this was another ditch Lita effort or their first argument. Pulling herself together, she put her focus back on the emergency at hand. Julie was missing. Who was her mom? Trying to get to the bottom of it, Lita and Angela started to brainstorm. At a diner across town, Abigail and Julie finished their meal. "Okay, Julie, we have to get back now," advised her mom. As paranoia intensified in Julie's mind, she pretended to go along with the plan. "I'll meet you outside after I use the bathroom," answered the pregnant young lady. After paying the bill, Abigail stepped outside to have a cigarette. Her nerves were all over the place. And I don't advise smoking. What was taking Julie so long? After finishing her smoke, Abigail went back to find her daughter. Vanished. What? No way! Running back outside, she proceeded to look everywhere. As Julie hid behind the dumpster, she imagined the demons were coming back to hurt her. And that's the end of chapter 19. Next is chapter 20, Photo Opportunity. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of this mystery on the next chapter. So I'll see you at the next podcast at nurseann.com. Make sure you follow, like, and don't forget to get the book if you want to ride along on this book club for the action, adventure, advocacy, adventure. And don't forget, breathe and let go. See you. Follow, like,